I'm right on time, 7 p.m. Hey guys, how are you? Thank you so much for joining, guys. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Cassandra. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. So guys, I'm just gonna start because Simonne from IntrinsiCurly Me will be joining me shortly to tell me a little bit about the brand, or to tell you guys a little bit about the brand that I've been using for the last 4 months in my journey to curly. But just a quick backstory. So I was born with naturally curly hair, like big curly hair. But because I was on television for so long, over a span of 10 years in the industry, I just straightened my hair all the time because that's what I saw on television. I never really saw anyone with their natural curls on TV, so I thought, you know what, let me straighten my hair as well. And I actually regret that a lot because I wish that I had kept my hair natural, and that way I wouldn't have so much damage to correct. So I asked around on social media about, you know, transitioning my hair back to my natural state and my natural curls. And a lot of people told me about a brand called IntrinsiCurly Me. So what I did was I reached out to the brand and I told them my story. And they told me that they would love to collaborate over 4 months and see how my journey develops. So I've been on the IntrinsiCurly Me products for the last 4 months, and I must say that there is such a big difference in my hair now compared to where my hair was 4 months ago. So if you go to my Instagram page, you'll see a post that I put up about 4 months ago, I think around April, and my hair would not curl at all. If I did put water and product on it, it would curl in the beginning, but as soon as I left the house, my curls would be completely gone, and I would end up with like a straight, wavy kind of vibe. So after 4 months, I'm really happy with where my hair is right now. I've still got a long way to go, but at least my curls are holding now. And I feel confident enough to leave the house with my hair in its natural state. So this is my hair in its natural state with IntrinsiCurly Me products in it. And yeah, I can leave the house and I can feel confident that my curls are going to hold. And obviously I still have a long way to go with my journey, but I'm very excited about how far I've come. So guys, I'm going to be joined by the curl boss, Simonne. She is from IntrinsiCurly Me, and she's got all of the details about curly hair, about transitioning, about the do's and don'ts, and how you start. Because honestly, I wish that I had someone that would have told me these things in the very beginning. I wouldn't have made so many mistakes. I wouldn't have had such a negative relationship with my natural hair. Had I had this sort of education, and had I known how to deal with the issues that I am having. So I want you guys to ask as many questions as you want. There is a question box here, so please ask the questions in the question box so that I can answer you guys with regards to my personal hair journey, because I'm obviously not a professional, but Simonne is, because she is very involved with IntrinsiCurly Me, and she'll introduce herself as well. So I think we should go ahead and add her. We're going to Curly Me, and she will answer all of your questions. And I've got a few questions for her as well, and I'll be asking those. So please pop those. Hey,
Hi,
how are you?
I'm good, and you, Abigail? It's so nice to be here.
Amazing. So lovely to meet you. It's so crazy that we haven't met yet, and I've been on this
I
journey for
know,
so long. Your
and
calls
you're
are.
doing so well.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Obviously, with your help and the help of the IntrinsiCurly Me team, there's no way that I would have been able to maintain this journey without you guys. So thank you.
Oh, that's our absolute pleasure. We just love going on a journey to Curly with the ladies that are, just so excited to be going on that natural journey. So we're excited to be on the journey with you too.
100%, 100%. So, Simonne, tell us a little bit about yourself and the IntrinsiCurly Me brand.
Okay, so as you can see, I have curly hair,
Yes.
and I was also born with curly hair, and I really struggled as a kid. My mom brushed my hair. She didn't. She's actually got curly hair. She didn't realize until I started IntrinsiCurly Me. So she's also got the curly hair, but her hair's not as curly as mine, and so she would brush my hair because that's how she did her hair. And I used to go to school looking terrible. Like the horror stories that I hear from my clients. We were all going, yes, me too. Wash day. Oh my God, it was so bad. Wash day was terrible. And we've all got these horror stories. And I remember a hairdresser saying to me, you will never, ever have shiny hair because curly hair does not shine. That's it. Wow. And I remember looking at my friends with straight hair going, wow, they're so lucky. Their hair shines. And I just want shiny, healthy looking hair. My hair never looked healthy. And so that was where my desire started from. I just didn't realize it at the time. And then as an adult, already grown up, I struggled. I couldn't get jobs. I remember going for job interviews with this big hair and them looking at me going, serious? You're not really coming to an interview looking like that? Yeah. And I mean, that's how, like, this is my hair. What do you want me to do about it?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's a big part of why I straightened my hair for so long while I was on television. Because that's all I saw on TV. I didn't see anyone with their big natural curls on TV.
Absolutely.
It's only now, the last couple of years, where people are embracing their curls, and we're starting to see that on adverts and on television. And I'm so happy that that change has taken place.
Me too. Me too. I know that when I went on those job interviews, even though I said, well, this is my hair, and if they don't like it, too bad. But inside I was going, please like it. Please be okay with me. I hope I get the job. I remember the anguish inside, and it was, the outside I was brave. Oh, please, this is who I am, but it's not really how I felt. And so I know that these little girls that are now growing up in this day and age, learning to love their curls now, for me, that is like, it's just such a blessing to be able to be part of that little girl's journey and knowing that she's going to grow up feeling amazing and knowing that this is who she is. And if she straightens it because that's what she wants to do, that's a different story. Yeah, but that's totally fine, but not to fit in, or because you're not good enough if your hair. So that was where I started from. And when I got married, they actually straightened my hair and then they curled it with a tong, and then she sprayed it. They literally were rock hard. Each curl was rock hard. And it took 4.5 hours, I was nearly late for the wedding, for them to give me curls. And that was just ridiculous. And that was a very big turning point for me. And I started doing research on the Curly Girl method, and that was the beginning. And started bringing products in from overseas, the really good products. And it was just so expensive. And of course, with our postal service, it didn't always get to me. So somebody else out there also had lovely hair, and they worked for the post office. Yeah, exactly. And, it was just becoming such a pain. And people were saying to me, oh, your curls have they've really transformed. What are you doing? And I said, oh, well, I can also help you at, 900, 1,000 Rand a bottle. And they went, oh, no, thanks. And I went, you know what? Why don't we have something here? Why don't we have something locally made, locally produced for our hair? And, that we don't have to worry about import duties and spending half the money on the taxes and import duties. So, I started doing research and found a factory that was willing to work with me with my small quantities. If there's any ladies out there that are listening now that are thinking of starting whatever business, please know that you don't need millions of rands. It's a very wrong idea that people have out there, that I need funding before I can start a business. I did it literally with 120 Rand. My other business was going, I was really in trouble. I owed the bank money. I owed everybody money. And I had 120 Rand for my first sample, bought the sample, placed my order. I didn't need to pay up front, placed my order, and then gathered money for 30 bottles of what's now called the peppermint co-wash. And when I had to pay for it, it was like, do I buy this or do I pay my Truitt's account? Sorry, Truitt. I did. I bought the bottles, and now my Truitt's account is paid. But that was how I started, and I was so fussy with the ingredients that go in and how it must feel on the hair, etc. And this is what it's turned out to now, 4 years later.
Amazing, amazing. I love that. I love that you started with 120 Rand and you've built this amazing brand. Because, I mean, when I started, you know, thinking about transitioning to curly, I asked my followers, listen, what are you guys using? What are great products that I should try? And IntrinsiCurly Me kept coming up time and time again. And I think that just speaks to the quality of the brand. And I'm so happy that those people reached out to me for me to start my journey. Because it's a really daunting one when you've been straightening your hair for so long and you have no idea where to start. Like, do I start by just staying off of heat? Are there specific products that I need to use? And like I said, it's daunting when you see things like the Curly Girl method and you have no idea what that is. And you go onto Google and it seems so complicated. Can you explain to the ladies and gents watching what exactly the Curly Girl method is and how we take those steps?
Okay, so very important thing is that was for me too. I felt overwhelmed, and so I wanted to make sure that I was going to come to market with a product that was so good that even if you're the laziest curly person out there, okay, you could use it. Trust me, I would win this race. I really am, and so. The product had to be so good, and I had to find techniques that were so good and so easy that everybody could do it. So the Curly Girl method is actually very simple. It's basically no heat, no direct heat, no drying ingredients, which would be drying alcohols, because you get moisturizing alcohols as well. So no drying alcohols, no silicones, waxes, or mineral oils, because those actually build up on the hair and prevent moisture from getting in. And so your hair ends up drying out, becoming brittle. They say that silicone can even block your follicles, which can eventually lead to hair breaking off and loss of hair. So there's the no terry cloth towels. Which is your normal towel, but that's got that rough feel because that lifts the cuticles up, and no dry brushing, and that's it. It's actually quite logical. It's just things that are going to dry out your hair or rough up your cuticles. Don't do it. That's it. And so that's really all it is. But now what's happened is that people find different ways and methods and techniques, and then they add that to what is the Curly Girl method. And then you start to go, am I supposed to do shingling method, or should I be using the Denman brush, or am I, like, is this all part of the stuff I have to do? And so we came up with a really, really simple way for people. Just, you don't ever have to read our ingredients. You can trust that all our products will always be Curly Girl approved, Curly Girl method approved. So that means you don't have to sit, you know, with 14 products in front of you, reading and trying to understand these long names that we can't even pronounce, and phone up a friend and try and get onto a group. And you just know that with IntrinsiCurly Me, your products are always Curly Girl method approved. And we're also always there to assist you along the journey.
That is 100% true. You guys have been there for me over the past 4 months. If I'm struggling or confused about something, you guys are just a WhatsApp away, which is so amazing. I mean, there's a Facebook group that's super supportive as well. You guys are on your DMs all the time. So I can really say that the service after purchasing these products are just as amazing as the products. And I think that's so important.
Yeah. Well, it's the whole team is really, really committed to that. And, you know, you've also been dealing with Lisa, our curl nerd, and she is so committed to assisting. And it's just amazing how the guys in the office as well, when they're sending the products out, they love getting photos, guys. So if you're buying the products, please send us your photos, because everybody in the office, like, they are so excited when a client sends in photos and says, you know, they're just packing a box and putting something into a box and sending it off. And when they see the results, they are, wow, they played a role in that. So everybody is just,
Yeah. So Simonne, so there's also something, and when I first saw this, I was like, goodness, what is happening here? Because there's apple cider vinegar and there's bicarb. Am I in the kitchen or am I in the bathroom? What is happening with this final wash slash clean slate wash that needs to happen the first time before you start using these products?
Okay, so with the products, they're very hydrating and moisturizing. The formulas have a lot of amazing ingredients inside. But if you have been using products that have silicones in, now if you've been straightening your hair, you definitely have been using products that have that have silicones in, because most of the heat protectors have silicones.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you've been ironing your hair or blow drying, you're normally using a heat protector. A lot of the conditioners, most of the curl products by a lot of the other brands have the silicones in, because that's how it used to be made. Those silicones build up on your hair, and they literally behave like, if you imagine that you laminated a piece of paper and took that paper outside in the rain, that piece of paper would be 100% fine, because the lamination is protecting it from getting wet. So that's great in that instance. But when we want to hydrate our hair, water is how you hydrate your hair. And if water cannot get in, that is what causes your hair to become dry and brittle and start to break and frizzy and really just weaker, and you'll find that it starts to break off and you get split ends, etc. So I always say to people, when you're thirsty, you don't go and get a glass of oil, you get a glass of water. And this water cannot get into your hair. So the same with the ingredients in IntrinsiCurly Me, and you know, we use it with a lot of water. We always say your hair should be sopping wet, which is also what helps the product last so long. And if we are doing that, and you have a really great years and years and years layer of silicone on your hair, then the products are just going to sit on top. So we sometimes get people sending us messages going, these products are not all they cracked up to be. I've tried them and they did nothing for my hair. My hair actually felt tacky, or, you know, the curl didn't come out, etc. And we say, have you done the clean slate method? So what we do is, you could use a sulphate shampoo for the very last time.
Okay.
And wash your hair off. But if we had to tell you to go and buy yourself one bottle of shampoo that has a sulphate in it, just to be able to remove the silicone buildup, that would be a bit silly, because what are you going to do with the rest of that bottle? So we just use something that you've got it in the house. And also the apple cider vinegar can be used monthly. It's actually very nice to be used that way. So what happens is, you take either your peppermint co-wash or gentle cleanser. We normally advise you which one is better for your hair, and you just mix a bit of bicarb with that on the very, very first wash. Wash your hair with that, and then do the apple cider vinegar rinse to get your pH balance back right. And you really don't want to be doing this. This is not a regular thing that you do. It's a one-off. You get all those silicones and any waxes or mineral oils and all of that build up off your hair, and you're literally starting with a clean slate. And that's where the name comes from. And you'll notice that, you know, the products can actually do their thing.
100%. I think it's so important to tackle this myth, because I think growing up as well, I was always told that you need to oil your hair at least 3 times a month. You need to put amla, or you need to put this oil and this heat treatment that contains oil. So I was very surprised when, you know, you guys spoke about, you know, staying away from oils and staying away from silicones, because as someone who's not informed, I would think that oil is good for your hair, because I would imagine that it's moisturizing your hair. Why is that not the case?
Okay, so the thing with oils is, firstly, there's a lot of oils out there on the market that when you just look at the bottle, you'd think you were buying an oil. Some brand, this is not only, you know, if you're buying from some backstreet shop kind of thing. I'm talking about mainstream, that you can walk into a salon, you can walk into a store, and you could buy a bottle that you thought was an oil, whichever oil it is, and it's actually mixed with silicones. I often have hairdressers sending me, and this one, what about this one? And they send me the ingredients at the back, and I'm like, if you look at where the oil fits in on the ingredients, it's actually right near the end. So a lot of them are silicones and not oils. They're silicone oil blends. Okay, so that's the first thing. And as soon as we say to people no more oils, we know that we're not going to get any of those blends as well being used. But the thing with oils is that there are oils in our products. So the benefits of the oils, you've got the almond oils, the coconut oils, etc. And that's enough, and it's mixed and blended well with other products to be able to penetrate the hair shaft. Some of them, you know, it's the formula that actually counts. Now, when you're using oil on its own, the oil starts to build up on the hair because we tend to use too much. I mean, like, let me just show you. When I tell people with the conditioner, okay, so here's some conditioner, and I say to you, okay, so take some conditioner out. And my favorite is when the curly girls do something like that, okay? And I'm like, you don't need that? Yeah, because nothing ever works. So we're so used to taking out way too much, and we do the same thing with oils. So when you, let's say, scrunch out the crunch with an oil, you could use 1 drop to do that, but no, we don't do that. We put 6, 7, 8, 10 drops, and then say, actually, scrunch this side, I'm going to scrunch that side now. And then guess what we do tomorrow? We do more, because guess what? It looked very nice and it worked. And then your friend says, oh, but I do an oil pre-poo, and you go, what's that? And you use oil before you wash your hair. And so you go, oh, well, I'm going to do that every time I wash my hair. And when you're using co-washes and very gentle cleansers, you're not able to wash that oil right out of your hair. So that oil is building up, and then tomorrow you're scrunching out, and then the next day you're trying another oil to do another thing. And what happens is over time, the oil becomes a water barrier as well. And then it just behaves like the silicone. So that's our biggest reason for saying no oils.
Got it. And it's so true what you're saying, Simonne. When I was growing up, I remember my mom used to put so much conditioner into my hair and so much shampoo and so much gel. And I got my IntrinsiCurly Me products, I think, in April. And I still have at least, actually more than half of all of the products. I think on some bottles there's half. So it's so long lasting, and you use so little product. So little product goes such a long way. So if you invest for, say, 1,000 Rand, that lasts you for so long. So it's a very
absolutely
purchase. And then the next point that I wanted to chat about, Simonne, is, you know, when I started my journey, I looked at these girls with these beautiful curls and this big hair and these big curls, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's the type of hair that I want. And obviously everyone's curl pattern is different, but I've noticed watching tutorials that so many ladies use different sorts of techniques and tricks and tips to create these beautiful curls, and that it's not always necessarily their natural curl pattern, but they use techniques to train their hair and enhance their curls. Why are, you know, using these techniques and learning about these techniques so important, would you say?
Well, the thing is that we say first get the basics right. And that's why you'll see when we teach, we talk about smoothing down the cuticles, okay? And that gets the frizz to be lessened, as well as, you know, you can see the light shining here. That's because I'm always smoothing the cuticles, and when that can reflect the light. So once you've got those sorts of basics, and then the scrunching up, etc., okay, once you're doing that, we spoke about overwhelm just now. When you first hear about the curly girl method, and then you hear that, okay, so my products mustn't have this and this and this in, and it must have this and this and this, and then I must do, and then I must STC and SOTC and all these different acronyms.
Anxiety.
Totally, okay. So we try and teach, like, don't worry about those techniques yet. Let's get the basics right. Once that happens, you might find that I can tell you that I've got about 60% of our clients who will never go and watch another video again. That's it. They're done. They're happy. What I find is with a lot of people is if they're transitioning, okay, then they tend to want to do more research. Once you've now got those techniques down, there's using the Denman brush, which a lot of girls enjoy. I find that if I've tried it 2 or 3 times, I don't have the patience for it. So I find I get a flat. I just don't have the patience and the core to know how to get it up and then twist my arm, and I just find that so confusing. So then
some
you've
of these
got things
girls
like,
really have it down, hey? Like some of the tutorials that I've seen Those are
They're
amazing.
amazing. They're amazing, and they do it fast. Have you watched a tutorial on the shingling method?
No, no, not yet. I'll
Oh
Google
my!
it tonight.
You take every curl, every single curl, and you smooth every single curl down by hand.
Okay.
Okay, and I actually can't even remember the whole thing, but I remember watching this going, okay, no, I'm going to try it. I'm not going to have a closed mind. After the second curl, I looked at the rest of my hair. I mean, I have a lot of hair. I looked at the rest of my hair and went, I'm only on the second curl.
There's
Are
no
they
way.
mad? Absolutely. So if that's in your nature, if you are someone who loves to do stuff like that, I say go for it. Learn the different techniques. I mean, that's amazing. If you can finger coil, I can't even figure out which way to turn my finger, and if I'm supposed to turn my finger or my hair. But if you can do that, that's amazing, because sometimes what happens is that you find out that you get to day 3, 4, and 5 hair a lot better when you've manipulated your curls slightly. But this is not manipulating with really high heats or machinery. This is just with your finger. So I'm always like, if that's what you're willing to do and willing to learn, then go for it.
A little birdie told me, Simonne, that you haven't brushed your hair out with a brush for how many years? Or is this not true?
No, it's very true. It's very true. I haven't. This is my favorite thing when I go to a new hairdresser. They come to do my color and they arrive with the comb, and I'm like, oh, no, get that thing away from me. I haven't brushed my hair in 7 years. Oh, it's 2000. Where are we? We're 2021.
Yes.
So the last time was 2013 that I
What?
brushed my hair.
That is crazy. That is, so you just detangle with your fingers?
Absolutely. And in
Okay.
seconds now. So the detangling with the fingers and the smooth, it's not just detangling with the fingers like you're raking. It's that smoothing of the cuticles. If you imagine that when your cuticles are lifted up, so when you brush or comb, you're stretching your hair. And even when you do it when it's wet, it's just better when it's wet. There's less damage. But your cuticles are literally like lifting, and then they become like Velcro. And then because you're stretching that hair, you imagine them lifting up like that. Now, when you're smoothing with your fingers and you're feeling and you're actually trying to get those knots out with your fingers, you're very gentle. And so you're not pulling like that. And so what happens is you're actually starting to train those cuticles to lie flat, so they're not knotting so badly the next time. And over time, the detangling process, like I can go after 5, 6 days, even if I've swum in the sea, and all I have to do is put the peppermint co-wash on, and it's 2 seconds and my hair is detangled. Yeah.
Okay. I think, Simonne, just before we get into the next point, I see someone says lost sound. I don't know if everyone can still hear us. I hope so. I hope that was just a short technical.
Just one person.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that everyone can still hear us. If you can't, just let us know in the comments. And also, guys, there's a little question box on the right below. So if you have any questions for myself or for Simonne, please just drop them there. And then just before we end, we'll go through those questions and answer as many as we can. So I think let's get into the products. So you guys sent me a whole range of products, from the gentle cleanser, the creamy conditioner, the gel, and the curl cream. You also sent me the little tablets that I take for strengthening my hair. So let's just go through the range and what IntrinsiCurly Me has to offer, also how each product can help people who are watching.
Okay, so let's start with the peppermint co-wash. It was the first product that I ever created. So that product is for anybody who has very dry hair, very curly hair, and coily hair. It's a co-wash, which it's actually short. It's co-wash, stands for conditioning wash, and is used instead of shampoo. So we no longer shampoo our hair. We cleanse our hair, or we co-wash our hair. And the co-wash is a very, very mild wash. It's the name, the peppermint co-wash, comes because it's got peppermint oil in, and it's very nice and tingling on the scalp, and it
smells
helps
amazing.
yeah, it's lovely. It gets that like tingly feeling, which is lovely on the scalp, getting the blood flow going and everything. And it's actually amazing for detangling. So that's actually where I started tangling my hair. And then we've got the gentle cleanser. So the gentle cleanser is very similar to the co-wash, just has a slightly stronger cleansing action and no peppermint oil. This is better for people with very wavy hair or very fine hair. So somebody whose hair is weighed down a lot, they would use that. It's also amazing for people who want to be able to cleanse their hair with a slightly stronger cleansing action on the odd occasion. So people with low porosity hair tend to struggle a bit with buildup because the products don't always get through into the hair shaft and it sits on top of the hair. So they find they need to cleanse a little bit better. So this is not a clarifying wash, but it's a very, we have a client who, she says every fourth wash, she uses the gentle cleanser instead of the peppermint co-wash. Then our creamy conditioner. This is an amazing product. It smells like pudding. The very first video we ever did, I had this lady interviewing me. We had 4 people online. There's a lot more today. And her husband was sitting next to her, and she was talking to me going, oh, and it's such a lovely product. And the husband went like this with his finger and smelt it and then went and actually tasted it. Wow. And now she couldn't see him, only I could.
Oh my God.
I was going, oh, no, what is he doing? So it smells like pudding. It really does. It's amazing. And it's got hyaluronic acid in it. And anyone who knows anything about skincare, there's normally hyaluronic acid is used in skincare to attract water. And that's exactly what it does. So it attracts the water into the hair. It's also got a scalp treatment in it. So we recommend massaging it right into the scalp and just make sure that you rinse it out properly, because I think that's the biggest problem with curly girls is we use so much product, we're always sticking product on, and we tend not to rinse our scalps properly, and then we land up with that itchy, gunky scalp. So the creamy conditioner can assist you with that. It can also be used as a leave-in. So this is what's so nice. We call it the one and only. You'll see here. The one and only. You can't actually, hey, the lighting changes. It shines on the shiny labels, but the one and only creamy conditioner, because you can use it as your deep conditioner as well. You can use it as your rinse out, and you can use it as your leave-in conditioner. You can add some sugar into the conditioner in your hand and use it as a scalp scrub. And we like sugar because sugar dissolves quite quickly, so you're not going to overstimulate your scalp. And so that's the one and only. And then we've got our styling products. So the curl cream, the creme de la curl cream, which was our only styling product for quite a while. And what makes it different is that it's a moisturizing, hydrating cream, but it does have a little bit more hold than most of the creams out there. And that was what we wanted was, you know, you like a cream to be able to give you that soft, natural feel, but you'd want to be able to still go to day 2, day 3 hair. And that's what the creme de la curl cream could do. And then our latest product, which is our new little baby, is our gel, our Hold Me Baby Curly Hair Gel. And that is an amazing anti-humidity gel. It took about 4.5 years for us to formulate this. Yeah, that was the first product I wanted, was a gel, and we could not get it right. And I was so fussy. I said, like, a lot of gels that I had used worked beautifully for about 2-3 hours, but by the time that the afternoon came, my hair was very much like straw and dry and grassy. And I said, no, I can't have that. I mean, I had I went through horror stories, flakiness, and all of. I said no. It had to add shine. We had to have an anti-humidity side to it. And that's the Hold Me Baby Curly Hair Gel, which you will wear over the curl cream.
Yes, and I love it because, like you said, there's no flaking. You know, you can sleep on it, anything. It does not flake. And that's what I love the most about it. I just saw in the questions now, Simonne, just to re-emphasize the point you did make. Someone asked which of the products can they use as a leave-in conditioner? I know you touched on the point, but can we just re-emphasize that?
Sure. So the one and only conditioner, creamy conditioner, can be used as a leave-in. So, for example, I'm just going to show you, because the problem that a lot of people do is then they take too much. So when you condition your hair, you would use a little bit more. But when you're doing it as a leave-in, you rinse all of your conditioner out. Make sure that your hair is sopping wet, and you literally use that much. Can you see what's on my finger there?
Yeah, that
So you
seems like
rub.
so little. So what do you say to
If you
someone who says, there's no way that's going to be enough for all of the hair that I have on my head?
When your hair is sopping wet, so you take that little bit and you rub it into your hands like that. I don't have any water with me, so I've put it back into the jar. If I was rubbing it in like this, my hands would be white on both sides. Okay, and I throw my head over, and you can see my hair's quite long. I don't know if you can see it. My hair's not so short anymore. And do this, my hair's sopping wet, and then I do praying hands to put it on and smooth it out evenly. If I feel that maybe I've left out just a little bit there, I might take a tiny little bit, but it's very seldom that I need to do that. You know, sometimes you do just apply a little bit too much in one space, but you're only applying from here down.
Okay.
Okay, so we're not putting back onto our roots, and we're not putting back onto our scalp. You don't want that flatness, and you also don't want your scalp to get built up.
Sure.
So we've had a lot.
Sorry. Please continue.
So we've had a lot of people who have said to us that they no longer, since they're following our methods and using our products, they no longer have that flaky. There's a lot of girls that have that issue here, especially, and I used to have it myself, where my husband would say, "You're not leaving the house looking like that. Go back and look in the mirror." And then I'd have to sit and like pull these horrible like pieces of dry skin off, and that was just build up in wrong products. And doing this, all gone.
I see that someone also asked about creating volume at the top without using maybe a diffuser or heat. What sort of tips do you have with regards? Obviously, you've given one tip now, not applying the product.
Yes, no.
Your roots.
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to show you. I especially didn't put too much volume on my hair now in case someone asked this question. It's a really a lot of people want to know. So I have been growing my hair out. I had cut layers. So firstly, if you look here, if I had cut a layer there, can you see the volume?
Yes.
Already?
Yes.
Okay. So your haircut is really important. If you're wanting that big volume and you're wanting it just to come naturally, having layers is really important. So if we do that layer up there and another one up there, then that one sits on one which is on top of another one, and you land up with that big full look. Okay. But this, so you can see that I have the definition in my hair now. Okay. Now you're shaking at the roots. So it's like this. I'm just trying to make sure that I stay
in shot.
Yeah. So can you see the volume coming there?
Yes.
Okay. So, but I haven't lost the definition in the curl because I'm not shaking it out here. So it's going in and doing it underneath and in the roots like that. And you can get as wild as you want. And if you throw your head over and do it, you can actually get bigger hair. That for me works. A lot of girls do, there's a clipping technique where you get these, I've forgotten what they're called. They're not crocodile clips, but they're almost like a crocodile clip. And you actually clip the roots up. So it literally holds it in place like that. And then another one that would be up like that. And you can do that all along here.
Ah.
And then you let your hair dry like that. And what that does is it lifts the hair. Also, when you apply products. So if I'm going to apply my products down like this and against my scalp, and that's how I let my hair dry, well, that's how my hair will dry. But what I do is I apply my products like this, and then I throw my head over and just loosen everything from the scalp. And come over and make sure you're not touching, because like a lot of people loosen and then they loosen the curls and they do everything while the hair's wet. And I know you've been talking to Lisa, she'll be telling you no touchy.
I've been thinking about this the whole time that you've been speaking, because it's honestly something that I still struggle with. She tells me all the time, do not touch your hair while it is drying. don't touch, but it's so hard. And it's still a
It's so
journey for
hard.
me. I'm still learning. I'm still seeing what works for me and what doesn't. But yeah, biggest tip that I've probably gotten is don't touch your hair while it is drying. Let it dry
Yeah,
completely before you do anything.
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that is something, don't feel bad, because that's something that we even have to tell some of our hairdressers when we go and do training, because they want to blow dry and they start to shake the hair while the hair's still wet. And then they don't know why. Why is this person coming out of this hair with no definition and just all frizz?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And another thing is, obviously, there's the option to dry naturally and just wash your hair and go through your day, let it dry naturally. But a lot of people
Yes.
also enjoy diffusing their hair. And I've noticed that when I diffuse, my curl is lost completely because I'm still transitioning. So what
Yes.
sort of advice do you have for people when it comes to the ways that you dry your hair? Because some people also will put on what is called is it a plop or a
Yes, so they
t-shirt?
plop their hair.
Yeah, or a t-shirt and let that dry the hair. Others will
Yeah.
dry naturally. What do you suggest?
So if you're plopping for a few minutes in the morning, that's fine. But what the one thing that I'll say don't ever do is plop your hair and sleep like that overnight with the wet, damp hair, because
Okay.
that's just asking for trouble. Your scalp is it's just going to be a nightmare. Itchy, flaky scalp, here we come, if that's what you're doing. It's just a breeding ground for bacteria, etc. So I would recommend, if you're going to plop, make sure it's in the day for 15 minutes, an hour, whatever, but then take that off and let your hair actually dry. It's a personal choice. My biggest thing is, what is your desired end result? If you're wanting big hair, then diffusing is great. But if you're wanting, so there are some people that want their hair to be as close to their heads as possible. They want that long, sleek,
Yes.
curly look. Okay,
Yes.
diffusing is not going to be okay for that,
Okay.
because it does naturally give you a bit more volume. However, there's different diffusing techniques. So if you're somebody who has to be at work by 7 o'clock in the morning in winter, we can't say to you, listen, don't diffuse, go to work with your hair wet. I mean, that's not us. So I work from home. So I sit next to a heater and wait for my hair to dry. So I let my hair
Lucky
dry
you.
naturally. It's also part of my laziness. Like, I just, thank goodness I work from home.
It's
So I don't,
fine.
I know. So we've actually got a blog post on our website where you can go and have a look at a couple of the different techniques. There's where you hold it like this and you put it in. I think that one's called the pixie.
Okay.
And then let it go. But now a secret is to switch the diffuser off before you go fetch the other hair to put it in, and then switch it back on. Okay. Using a cold heat and medium heat, cold, medium, cold, alternating like that, also very good. But then switching it off and then going, because then you're not messing up the curl. So if you find that you get halo frizz, switching it off and then going, there's a technique hovering like this where you hold it further away, but that can cause frizz around here if you're prone to frizz. So you've just got to see what works for you. There's another technique, and I don't know what it's called, where you hold your towel. So let me get a towel just to show you. So if you were diffusing, you'd hold the towel here almost to catch that air, and you would diffuse here. And that is actually just creating almost like a greenhouse effect of heat. And I find that when I do that, it's that's the best one for me, because it actually works faster. So the hooded dryer at the salon is actually the best.
Yeah.
So
but then we have to go to the salon. I mean, maybe some people have hooded dryers in their home. Maybe they're lucky enough, but for most of us, that's not an option.
My dream.
Christmas present, maybe.
Absolutely.
So, Simonne, then how should I sleep at night to preserve my curls? Do I just plop my head on my pillow and hope for the best when I wake up in the morning? Or what should I do for my nighttime routine?
No, I think hoping for the best is, I think that's our natural state of being as a curly girl. But no, we definitely don't do that. So satin pillowcase is a must.
Okay.
The satin is firstly quite smooth, and so it doesn't rough the cuticle up. But also, cotton draws moisture, and it's doing that to your skin, and it's doing that to your hair. So even if you did nothing else and you just slept on the satin pillowcase, that would be amazing.
Okay.
Um, I like to sleep in a buff, and I put the buff around my neck, throw my head over, and then lift. So if I had to throw my head over like that, I would lift the buff up. So literally, like it comes up like that. I look like Marge Simpson. And then in the morning, when I take that off, I look like the FNB acacia tree. And I look like their logo because my hair literally is sideways for about 5 minutes, and then it settles. But what happens is, because of that, if you are rubbing anywhere, you're rubbing under. But when you put your head back down, this part is untouched. And this is normally where we have our, can you guys see? My phone
Yes,
is not, okay.
I can see.
So this part is normally where you would be on a pillow, or you would rub against the back of a car or the pillow, and that's normally where your driest sections are. And now this causes, wearing the buff lifts your hair up, and then that is where any friction might happen. And then there are days where I literally take the buff off and I've forgotten to even look in the mirror, and then I go out, and then people go, "Oh, you've got such lovely hair." And I went, "Oh my word, I didn't even look in the mirror, and it looks fine because of the buff."
Yeah. Listen, a buff is not the sexiest thing to go to bed
No,
in, but listen, we need to do what we need to do.
100%.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's chat briefly about deep conditioning. I was on
Okay.
the website and I saw the bonbon and I absolutely love it. On cold days, I warm it up in the microwave and I wear it just because. So tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about deep conditioning and what sort of products you guys have to assist with that.
So our one and only creamy conditioner can be used as the deep conditioner, and because of the ingredients, the hyaluronic acid, etc., that actually draws that moisture in. Now, when you use it with the bonbon cap, that's like deep conditioning heaven, because with heat, the cuticles lift, and when the cuticles lift, the product can penetrate and go deeper into the hair shaft. And so you'll notice that when you deep condition, that your hair is much softer and smoother afterwards. Now,
Okay.
deep conditioning is key, absolute key. There are, when you're transitioning, you've got to be doing it, and there's some people that do it twice a week. The issue obviously is you've got to have the time to do that. But we say deep condition once a week, especially when you're transitioning. But if there's anybody on here that's saying once a week, are you mad? There's no ways. The nice thing, I have adjusted this slightly because I said to you, I'm the lazy curly girl. Like, I go and deep condition and then say, I actually don't feel like rinsing this off. I'm just going to leave it in my hair. But what you can do is, instead, if you know that this week you're not going to be able to deep condition, you've got a very busy weekend and you normally do it on a Sunday, you just use the conditioner only to wash in the week. So instead of doing the co-wash or cleanser and then the conditioner, just do the conditioner. Add an extra wash into your week in the morning and just use conditioner. And that's a nice balance. If you've got to get that moisture in, that's one of the key things when transitioning.
Okay. Simonne, I think we almost at an hour, and if I'm not mistaken, I think Instagram actually cuts you off at an hour.
Oh,
So I'm going to get the
okay.
last few questions in. So on the website, there are great package deals, and I think that's what I love about the brand as well, that you can go on there and see what package suits you the most for an affordable price. But if I'm someone who is on a budget, I don't really have a lot of money to spend, I'm just starting my transitioning journey, or I'm just starting to invest in my curls again, which products would you say is a must get for a starter, someone who's starting the journey to curly?
So we have 100 ml bottles as well, which is really nice for somebody who's on a budget. It's also, if you're wanting to try it, you're not sure it's going to work for you, the basic combo would definitely be my favorite starting combo for somebody, because that gives you either a cleanser or co-wash, it gives you a conditioner, and then it gives you the curl cream. Bearing in mind that if you're buying online, even with your code, the person can pay it off over 3 months but get their product straight away, and it's interest-free. So there's always a way that we can make this work for the person. We always say inbox us, though, because for some people, depending on what their results are or what they've got at home, we try and work with them and try and work a package out for them as well.
Okay, that's amazing. Here's some questions for you, Simonne. How do you deal with frizz along the whole length of the hair?
Okay, so that's normally your smoothing of the cuticles. So firstly, clarifying, and that means doing the clean slate. So what happens is a lot of people go onto the Curly Girl method without doing that clean slate first, and that is when you've got the build-up, the frizz is going to happen. You want to be able to smooth those cuticles down. The more you smooth them down, now a lot of people do the washing and then they detangle, they brush, and then they add their products and scrunch. You're literally smoothing, taking pieces like this and smoothing, bless you, and getting that almost seaweed feel, adding more water, and then doing it again, and you'll notice your hair actually really starts to feel like seaweed. When you scrunch like this and it's wet, you should have no frizz at that point, and then no touching while it's drying.
And squish to condition.
Yes.
Squish, squish, squish. It's so important.
Squish, 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 yeah. The scientific term, squish to condition.
Yes, yes. So, oh, hey. And Jess is asking, do I wash my hair, then deep condition, or wet hair, then put conditioner on? So what are the steps?
Wash your hair first. The deep conditioner will work better when your hair is cleaner, because then it can actually penetrate. Sometimes people can go a week or 2 weeks without washing, but they've been refreshing and adding products all that time, and that's going to cause some sort of barrier between your hair and the deep conditioner.
Okay. And then Azzy247 asks or says she really struggles with knots. What's the best solution?
The smoothing of the cuticles. So those knots are basically that Velcro effect happening. The more you can smooth that down and deep condition and using the water, all of these techniques that I've been talking about will help with knots. You may also need a trim. I know a lot of people don't want to do that, but you cannot believe the difference that a trim can make.
And on that topic, Simonne, I'm one of those people who I obviously go to trim my ends, but when I was doing my research, a lot of people said you need to do the big chop. You need to chop your hair off where it is damaged. And I don't know if it gives me so much anxiety just thinking about cutting my hair. Is it a must do when you are transitioning?
You have to know what your desired result is. Okay. So it's managed against that. If you are saying, I want my hair to curl, that's it, and I'm not prepared to wait, then you've got to go and cut it off. Okay. But I always like people to rather do that only after 2 to 3 months of following the techniques we give them and using the IntrinsiCurly Me products, because sometimes your hair's just dry and thirsty, and that's just the change of product and technique, and you're going to say, oh my word, I would have cut up to here, but I actually only need to cut there.
That much, 100%. Okay, another question, short curly hair tips, please.
Exactly the same, nothing different. And the nice thing about keeping your hair short is that you're not trying to preserve these old ends that we've all got as we grow in the hair. So yeah, and I'd say to use less products, and the curl cream on its own, I think with the shorter hair is lovely. Okay. See, it depends on how short, but there's also a good cut is important. Yeah, it's exactly the same. It's the same sort of techniques. I don't know if it's someone with short hair that's growing their hair or someone with short hair that's keeping it short, but making sure that you're massaging into the scalp, making sure that you're smoothing the cuticle, same techniques.
Okay. I think we are coming up to an hour shortly. So I just want to say that I still have the link to the IntrinsiCurly Me website with the 10% discount code in my bio. So if anyone wants to go and purchase, please use my link. And then Simonne, I just, for anyone that's following from my side, please just give us all of the social media handles so people can follow you, the website so people can head to check that out as well, and anything else that you want people to know.
So all our social is IntrinsiCurly Me. And you'll see in Abigail's bio is the spelling of IntrinsiCurly Me. And our website is intrinsicurlyme.co.za, but please rather go to Abigail's bio to click on that, as she's the one who's introduced you, and you'll get your 10%, so it's worth it.
Yes, it definitely is. So just before we wrap up, there's one more question. I think let's take that. Are your products moisture or protein infused, or do you have a balance of both?
We have a very good balance of both. It's not 50% protein and 50% moisture. Your hair needs a lot more moisture, but it needs the protein to keep the structure and to keep the strength. And so we have a good balance of both.
Awesome. Simonne, thank you so much. It's been awesome chatting to you. I think an hour flew by so quickly, but I think that it was very informative. I saw a lot of positive comments. I hope people will follow the brand. I hope people will start their journey to curly and tag IntrinsiCurly Me, tag me, because I love seeing the journeys as well. But thank you so much for responding to me and allowing me to go on this journey with you guys and sending me all of your amazing products. I'm so, so grateful.
It's my absolute pleasure, and I can't wait to see your journey progress. It's very
100%.
exciting.
Thank you.
Thanks,
so much.
Abigail.
We'll chat soon.
Cheers, everyone.
Okay, bye everyone.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning
Bye.
in. Bye.